I was brought up to believe that success means to roll up your sleeves and to never give up believing that one day your dreams will be fulfilled. Hi everyone, I'm Liezel Ponsaran, Teacher 3 at VICENTE ANDAYA Senior National High School, a privileged and grateful global presenter of the 3rd BBB International Multidisciplinary Research Conference. Now, I'll present to you my research study entitled Use of Gender Sensitivity and Gender-Free Language. 21st century brings out a lot of changes brought about by the technological advancement and innovations. Despite of this, respect to both sexes should be upheld, and this can be manifested through people's sensitivity in communication using the language, be it written or spoken. The use of gender sensitivity practices requires an identical symbol both in the real world of men and women. Every effort should be made to broaden men and women's participation at all heights of choice they do, aligned with the Millennium Development aim of hopeful gender equal opportunity at all costs. The use of gender-free language, or usage and meaning in the English language, has gone through invariable transformation, mirroring the succeeding cultural outlook, and instinctively affecting those who speak and listen to the conversations. Gender identity applies to women and men. However, the way gender choices are interpreted depend on social construction. Since gender biases exist, and these biases prevent people from attaining their full potentials, thus development is obstructed. According to Barron in 2011, rejection of replacement pronouns dates back to as early as 1850, with the proposal of adding the suffix er to make pronouns. Example, he/her, his/her, him/her, in an effort to make them gender fair. After rejection in 1850, the new pronouns were again proposed in 1884, rejected again and later adopted by the head of the National Education Association. This study is anchored on the 3 theories of gender development: the social learning theory, the cognitive developmental theory, and the gender schema theory. Bandura's social learning theory believes that parents, as distributor in reinforcement, reinforce appropriate gender role behavior. Theory that children growing up will observe the behavior of their same-sex parents or other role models and then imitate them. Role models are likely to include friends, teachers, and older siblings. Relevant to this, the researcher was inspired to conduct a study on the use of gender sensitivity and gender-free language. Specifically aims to answer the following questions. Number 1, what is the level of gender sensitivity of elementary and secondary teachers? Number 2, what is the level of gender-free language used by elementary and secondary teachers? Number 3, is there a significant difference in gender-free language used among the levels of gender sensitivity of elementary and secondary teachers? Number 4, is there a significant relationship between gender sensitivity and gender-free language used of elementary and secondary teachers? This survey correlational study utilized the 308 elementary and secondary teachers in the District of Sigma using the stratified sampling, the 21-item standardized questionnaire adopted from Marisa Coziar, and 29-item researcher made, which were validated and administered. The responses of the respondents were categorized into a 3-point scale, namely 1. Language used for masculine, 2. Language used for feminine, and 3. Gender-fair language. The statistical tools used were mean, standard deviation, rank, ANOVA, and the t-test to analyze the data. All inferential statistics were at 0.05 alpha level of significance. Level of gender sensitivity of elementary and secondary teachers. Generally, elementary and secondary teachers have fair level of gender sensitivity. Mean is 2.36 and the standard deviation is 33. Level of gender-free language used for elementary and secondary teachers. Generally, elementary and secondary teachers have fair level of gender sensitivity. Mean is 2.75 and standard deviation is 2. Difference in gender-fair language use among the level of gender sensitivity of elementary and secondary teachers. The gender-fair language use and the level of gender sensitivity of elementary and secondary teachers is significantly different with the result of 1950 set at 0.05 alpha level of significance. Relationship between gender sensitivity and gender fair language use of elementary and secondary teachers. No significant relationships existed between gender sensitivity and gender fair language among secondary and elementary teachers. The result is negative 0.076 set at 0.05 alpha level of significance. Level of gender sensitivity of elementary and secondary teachers. The results imply that most of the teachers are already aware of the gender sensitivity. This is the result of the massive education and orientation done by the different agencies, moreover by the Department of Education, but this needs follow-up and strengthening of implementation to bring bigger impact on teachers concerned. Level of gender fair language use of elementary and secondary teachers. Elementary and secondary public school teachers are already knowledgeable and using most of the time the gender fair language. Though the teachers are aware, there are also times that possibly they don't bother to use the gender fair language, and chances on the old usage of language is still practiced because of habit and adaptation to social media through print and networks. Difference in gender fair language use among the level of gender sensitivity of elementary and secondary teachers. Gender fair language use can affect the levels of gender sensitivity of elementary and secondary teachers. Therefore, the hypothesis stating that there is no significant difference in gender fair language used among the levels of gender sensitivity of elementary and secondary teachers is hereby accepted. Relationship between gender sensitivity and gender fair language use of elementary and secondary teachers. Although teachers are knowledgeable what is gender sensitivity, but still not using the gender fair language because they still cling to use their old practices of using the old usage of language. And the words underlined further by Atty. Ranada in 2015 about GAD or Gender and Development Budget Policy reiterated that gender and development activities target both men and women. Those that are mainly focused on men may be reported as a gender and development activity for as long as the objective is to correct gender disparities such as training, encouraging men to share in parenting and child rearing responsibilities. Public elementary and secondary school teachers' level of gender sensitivity is fair. This means that they have knowledge on gender sensitivity. Perhaps this is the result of their participation to different trainings and seminars related to gender development, which is one of the thrusts of the Department of Education. The level of gender fair language used by elementary and secondary teachers is fair. This means that the knowledge of these teachers on gender sensitivity is reflected on their communication. Maybe these teachers weren't so careful with the production of words, especially when they are addressing to their colleagues, students, and other clientele. The study found out that there is a significant difference in gender fair use among the levels of gender sensitivity of elementary and secondary teachers. This means that gender fair language use can affect the levels of gender sensitivity of elementary and secondary teachers. No significant relationship exists between gender sensitivity and gender fair language use of elementary and secondary teachers. This reveals that although teachers are gender sensitive, but still they are not using the gender fair language or otherwise. I sincerely appreciate that I had the chance to present to you. Thank you very much.